welcome to America. The Everyday American here. Going to continue on with our things and tools to help you be a better American series. And one of those on that original list was a Christmas light timer. I don't know if you'd call it someone else. It could be a Hanukkah light timer or a Kwanzaa light timer. That's not for me to decide. I bought them in the Christmas section at Menards, so hey, that's not on me, that's on you. This is whatever you want it to be. Anyways, you gotta be a little lighthearted. This is America, don't be too serious. So all this is a thing you plug into the wall, and it has two outlets on it that are grounded. You can get the cheaper ones that only have two holes. And then there's these little switches every half hour. There's a clock on here that turns when it's plugged in. It goes automatically. And then there's every 30 minutes there's one of these little tabs. Down is on, up is off. So the purpose for these that I know them most well for is so when you have Christmas or holiday lights on your house in the winter time, you plug this into the wall, and then you want them to come on every day at 4 o'clock when it starts to get dark, and then they go off at midnight so that you don't have to remember to plug them in and they're not on all day. Seems like a good idea, but why do we only use them one time, that small portion of the year? I don't know, and I don't. I use this thing all the time. I have several of them around my house. I use one actually every day that I go to work. I have one of these that's plugged into a lamp next to my bed. And every morning at, I think like 5:15, that light comes on because it's not light out yet. Your body's not meant to wake up in the dark, so which is when it's winter time and it doesn't get light until like 7 o'clock, and I already needed to be to work an hour before that. This helps. If you put one of those CFL bulbs in there, they're not bright right away, so it kind of wakes you up gradually. And then you don't have to worry about getting up and turning the lights on and stumbling around to snooze your other alarm clock. So that's helpful. I think it helps a lot. My wife doesn't really like it, but that's because she doesn't have to get up as early as me. The other thing these are helpful for is crock pots. So most crock pot recipes are due to cook on low for 6 or 8 hours. Well, if you're a real American and you're going to work and you're going to be gone for 8 hours, plus you have a commute, you're gone for, at a minimum 9-10 hours. Well, what you do is you get all your crock pot stuff ready the night before, put it in the fridge. Before you leave for work, you take it out, you set it in there, you plug this thing in the wall so that it'll stay cold. You can either have it so that it starts right then and it cooks for 8 hours, or you can have it so that it sits in the stoneware in the crock pot will keep it cold for a period of time until it starts cooking, and then it will be ready when you get home. If you're like me, occasionally you work late without notice, and you don't want to burn your house down, this will turn it off automatically, so maybe your food's not as fresh, but at least you have a house to come home to. The third one that I'm going to leave it at for today is if you have a tractor, a truck, any piece of equipment that has a block heater on it in the wintertime. Someone once told me that it's like $1 a day to leave that plugged in for the block heater. So typically what happens with farmers that have tractors they use every day, they plug it in when they're done using it, so it's plugged in more than it's not plugged in. Or like my truck, I come home from work, I plug it in at 5-6 o'clock at night, and then I start it again at 5-6 in the morning, so it's on for 12 hours. That block heater really only needs to be on for like 2-3 hours, depending on how cold it is, assuming it's working right. So you're paying for all that electricity that you don't really need. So by doing that, you can set this thing, and it will turn your block heater on. Say I want to start my truck at 6 in the morning. I set this Christmas light timer so that it turns on at 2 hours before that. So 4 o'clock, say 3 o'clock in the morning. You're only paying for 3 hours of electricity, and then you can have it run longer than that, or it can shut off just before that because you're not supposed to start something with the block heater plugged in, and then that way you could use a remote start. It's turned off, then you could come home. You come home at 6 o'clock at night, you plug it in, and it's plugged in, but it's not actually turned on, so it's not costing you money. So hopefully that helps you. These will make your life easier, take some of the thought out of things so that you can be doing other things to make yourself a better American. So I hope you appreciate that. If you did, like the video, comment on the video, post it to a friend who thinks who you think may benefit from this. Subscribe to the channel and follow us on Facebook. Until next time, stay American.